with bureaucrats. The Stronger Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, CAPTA, opens the door for CPS to seize children if parents do not support the LGBTQ agenda. This already happened in Ohio, and soon it will be nationwide. Additionally,
that baby is not black. Meghan Markle lied to all of us. She said the family was being racist toward her and her baby for being black. That baby is not black. I didn't know she was black. She was the one concerned about her child's color, not the fam. Meghan and her eye on Oprah.
Hold up, wait a minute. Somebody get Meghan Markle on the phone right now and tell her to call me. Meghan, I need you to sit down for a moment, okay? You talked to Oprah, and now I need you to talk to me. Sit down. I have a question, okay? So, you are accusing the royal family of being racist toward you and your baby. Your black baby. Okay? So, but you don't want to give out any names. Meghan, you said they were concerned. Are you listening to me, Meghan? Look at me when I'm talking to you. Meghan, you said they are concerned, that they were concerned about your baby being dark-skinned. Meghan, look at that baby. Look at your baby. First of all, you got a pretty baby, okay? You got a pretty white baby. Girl, this baby is not black. You Meghan. Girl, you're not even black. I didn't even know you were black. So, you want us to believe that they were being racist toward this baby for being black? This is not a black baby. I'm black, okay? I'm black. Your baby is not the same color as me. Your baby looks just like you and Prince Harry. But I'm starting to think it might not even be his baby, because you seem to be a gold-digging, fast little hoochie mama.
Lying. Meghan Markle is an actress. She is using the race card, and Oprah know it's a lie. She's so mad at the royal family, but refusing to expose the names of the racist family members. Raise your hand if you think she's deserve an Oscar for this performance. Oprah, Meghan, Harry.
concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What?
And
Who is having that conversation with you? What?
so,
There's a conversation. Hold up.
there's several conversations.
There's a
about it.
conversation with you
With Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
And you're not going to tell me who had the conversation?
I think that would be very damaging to them.
Okay. Girl, bye. You know what the Academy Award goes to? The star-studded. Girl, no, you deserve, listen. You always been a horrible actress in my opinion. But this right here is your best performance. Hercules, that's a great performance. So hold on, check this out. Let me get serious here. Terrence, cut it out. Come on, let's get serious here, okay? So, you mean to tell me that you so pissed off with this family? You mean to tell me they so racist that they didn't like the fact that y'all have a black son? First of all, I didn't even know you were black, okay? I mean, I'm black. We don't look the same. But anyways, that's another conversation for another day, okay? So you mean to tell me they didn't want your black baby in the castle, okay? They didn't want your black baby sitting on the throne, okay? You so mad at them, you won't even reveal a name? Y'all already being messy. Y'all already exposing the family. So don't beat around the bush, baby girl. I know why you beating around the bush. Cause you lying. You lying. Did nobody say nothing about Archie's skin color? You lying. Who said it? Did the queen say it? Who said it? Who said it? Did your husband, daddy say it? Who said it? You won't even tell us the name. Girl, listen. I know what you're doing. You make your money. You make your money, Megan. You make your money. You make your money, girl. You do your thing, Megan. You do your thing. All right? You keep on making that money.
Hadi 457 because most migrants on Twitter are Lebanese Shias. Muslims threaten Switzerland with terrorism after Swiss people have narrowly voted in a referendum to ban women from wearing full facial veils in public spaces. Hadi 457, are you Lebanese? Yevgeny Hadi 457. This is Hadi during a rally in support of wife beating. Marcus Vulcicero, the Orthodox Jews among the chosen ones have serious personal hygiene issues. America, why in your family dudes marry dudes? Text each other throughout the day lol. Getting accurate news from Middle East is nearly impossible. Western media rats present their tell pro-Jewish lies while local Sunni and Shia journalists further their own sectarian agendas. The two countries, our old allies North Korean artillery instructors, are present in Syria since the start of the war. Apart from training, they have participated in important battles. North Koreans, Cubans and East Germans fought Israeli soldiers in 1973 war and killed many Jews. Syria senior North Korean military officers visiting the Syrian soldiers who were injured during the fighting against Islamic terrorist forces. You always have a deep insight into such issues. Consul Hadi 457 Nekam 1 D to America. This tweet was about black bangstas, but not many got it. Halajaber Magnier has such insights in him that once his employer Nasrallah had to deny his insights publicly. Lol. Syria, both President Assad and his wife Asma have tested positive for COVID-19. This green-walled guy is a dodgy character. Kangaroo smells indeed. USA mega-rich televangelist grifter Kenneth Copeland is thanking you for donating money for his various cosmetic surgeries, his mansions, his cars, his suits, and his finest private jets in the world. In reality, he is making fun of you.
You like my pretty suit? You should, you bought it. Well, which is more important? The one that wore the suit or the one that paid for it? Are you listening to me? I know you are. Praise God. Those of you CX team members that got involved with the new interior on the Gulfstream 5, they're doing the extended test flight on it today. It will be in Fort Worth tomorrow, or maybe the next day. And you know what they said? Now, this man works on Gulfstreams all the time. He puts interiors in Gulfstreams all the time. And he told Dwayne, our chief pilot, he said, Dwayne, he said, I think this is probably the finest G5 in the world. The things that partners did on this airplane. Finest in the world.
This is the top international news right now. Look at these clowns. Look at these actors. Soulless fake Satanists garbage. Like this would accelerate even more before the second coming of Jesus Christ. And if you like and promote this garbage, you too are a Satanist. America is planning more wars. Do you think America is? NATO's Islamic terrorist goon Erdogan of Turkey, in many regards is the most dangerous man in the world. West has planned to use him even against Russia and China, but some are closely watching his every move. Iraqi Shia militias. Listen to a very prominent militia leader.
هذا موضوع الاتراك. بالمستقبل قد يكون اكثر تعقيدا مسؤول من موضوع الامريكان.
شلون؟
الامريكان مشروعهم تواجد من اجل حفظ امن اسرائيل عسكريا.
تمام.
اما الاتراك مشروعهم احتلال العراق واستقطاع جزء من اما الاتراك مشروعهم احتلال شمال العراق واستقطاعه والحاقه بدوله تركيا العظمى. وهذا اخطر. نيابه احنا لابد نعد المقدمات مع ذكرى مرور 100 عام على اتفاقيه لوزان، اتفاقيه لوزان 1923. فيجب في 2023 نعتبر أن هذه الاتفاقية قد ألغيت بعد مرور 100 عام اللي حصل تنازل الدولة العثمانية في ذاك الوقت. لذلك أردوغان جاي يثبت وجوده في كل منطقة كانت الدولة العثمانية محتلتها. في سوريا يثبت وجود ودخل ولم يخرج. في ليبيا يثبت وجود ودخل ولن يخرج. في أذربيجان يثبت وجود ودخل ولن يخرج. في بعشيقة مثبت وجود ودخل ولن يخرج، وإذا دخل في سنجار وتل أحفر لن يخرج أبدا بملء إرادته. يا اخوان هذا خطر هذا الموضوع. ليش نتكلم عن الموضوع الامريكي؟ هذا اخطر واسوأ من الموضوع الامريكي. احنا معلوماتنا من مصادر معينه انه هذا مشروع جدي حقيقي، والخطوه الاولى ان انت يخطط لها ان تنفذ في اشهر الصيف القادمه. تتقدم قوات تركيه بعنوان اجتياح، والخطوه الاولى هو السيطره على السنجار، بعدها اللعبه 100% بدون تردد. سنحمل السلاح، وانا شخصيا انا احمل السلاح واقاتل دفاعا عن وطني. لن نواجه على اساس حرب كلاسيكيه جيش بجيش، انما احنا عندنا خبره نتقنها ومهاره نجيدها، وهو حرب الاستنزاف. راجعوا تجربه جيش الاحتلال الامريكي 150,000 في العراق.
ما يتفقوا،
ما واجهناهم جيش، لكن عندنا قدره تعتبر من المتقدمين على مستوى العالم.
Piers Morgan Woodburnson. The cover of the book is brassy and vulgar as the author himself. Outrage over a 5-year-old video. Cutting edge do the ice bucket challenge next. Happy International Women's Day to all the beautiful and brave trans women of Saudi Arabia. So you're a man, and you want to wear a dress fine, you want to wear makeup fine, you want to change your name fine, you want to play in women's sports, no puberty blockers for kids, haha. People stop. No kids' lives in general depend on their parents making rational, informed decisions to protect their safety and well-being. Refusing mind-altering hormones and physical sex changes qualifies. Indeed, trans woman or woman.
How are you? First timer? Oh, I like everything's color branded. It's so, I feel like I stepped into Star Wars. Stairmasters are here. You don't have a squat rack at all? Okay, so that would be the closest thing. Forget that. I'd forget my head if it wasn't attached. Just one thing, careful to your back. You can hurt your back. It's a little rounded. Just make sure it's flat. Excuse me. I just need just some help to get the weight up, and in case just in case for safety. But I should be good. Help me get these weights just up. Just help lift them up. So there you go. One. Perfect. Thank you. Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, I was good. Thank you. I just need help lifting up. Thank you. What was that? Oh, it's trying to run away. I said it was trying to run away from me. It's trying to skedaddle.
First day I was flagged as a lunk. They even had bright lights and giant loud sirens. After this I was officially banned from Planet Fitness. I tried to join another location but had already been flagged as seen here.
But why are you telling me that I'm insincere?
Because I know who you are.
How do you know who I am? Are you saying that because that's a pre-transition ID? Is that why?
If you are a grown adult and you're wearing a mask outside by yourself, at the park you've lived in a whole life. Poll once and for all, who is the worst Cuomo? Caught, what do you think is the worst effect of illegal immigration? Time to put the nail in Cuomo's figurative coffin. A damn good show today. 10 at LWC. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if a woman threatens to kill herself and your unborn child, you are in an emotionally abusive relationship. Isolating an individual away from their family and friends using suicide threats to get what you want. These are classic signs of an emotionally abusive relationship, but we are supposed to suspend rationality because racism, dear Harry Meghan, is not the victim you are. Oprah did not conduct the interview as a journalist, she conducted it as a friend, helping her friends receive favorable publicity. In race-obsessed America, they knew every question that would be asked of them ahead of time. Meghan Markle is less than 25 black, her son is less than 12 black, her and Harry implying that everything that happened to them is because of her blackness is a sickening level of scapegoating. What Harry is doing to his family, who cannot respond, is unforgivable. Did Biden just say he rode a goat to safety after his helicopter crashed? Puerto Rican 38-year-old catcher shows this kid that is still a boss. Yeah dear, might be boss, but his dad was a legend. He raised 3 sons, which all became MLB catchers, and all 3 won a World Series ring. 2 of them had 2 WS rings each. What a family of champions.
7th inning of a spring training game, and Yachty still behind the dish. They walk Maldonado, so now there's a base runner at first, and they bring in the young gun Siri. I don't think he's played a day in the MLB. He gives his gold chain to the first base coach. He's on first, and he's going to try and steal against the catcher who set the record for opening day starts in a row last year and will break it himself this year. So Yachty says right away, you know what, pitch? Let's check on this rookie, make sure he doesn't get ahead of himself over there. Just because it's 7th inning of a spring training game doesn't mean I'm not coming for him. Look at that. Calls for the outside fastball, eyes him down, says, yeah, all right, I'll come your way. Pitch is not where he wants it, still goes for the pickoff, almost gets him sliding back to first. Now Siri's shaking his head, no, you don't do that to me. No. And Yachty goes, okay. Steal then. Take off. Let's see what happens. Next pitch, foul ball. So nothing going. Then high, dude didn't run. Now it's a 2-2 count. Yachty calls for the changeup. You know, pitcher's still got to work on things. Off-speed pitch. Boom. Nails him. And now Yachty's saying, you want to make eye contact? You going to look at me? You going to look at me? No. Okay, fine. All right. Nice knowing you. See you later. Hey, Woody, nice pitch, by the way. Called the changeup. Off-speed pitch. Look at this throw. Just an absolute thing of beauty. Dead. I wouldn't stand up and look at Yachty either.
If you see this tweet, please like it as soon as you see it. I'm testing something. Do not retweet it. Hispron 20. They sure didn't, because Jews, Protestants, Masons, and Satanists still exists. Everyone who supports freedom of speech, including your own, should follow accounts of people who have been previously banned. I wish I saw tweet follow chains of new accounts. EA tweets with follow these 30 accounts, although they could possibly also be used by report FGS. Gab seems to be down their system, seems to be based too much on people's IP address. GTFO, with that why are they so obsessed with that? It never wants to let me log in if I use a different IP. Thought they were into anonymous speech. Meghan Markle's accusation that the royals are racist doesn't tell me that they are evil. The fact that they are illegitimate and based on the removal of the Catholic Stuarts tells me that it only tells me what I already knew, that an American mulatto doesn't belong with royalty. No one should get too excited over young minor league baseball prospects getting hits against MLB pitchers in the first 2 weeks of spring training, because the pitchers are not at their peak. They are just getting ready. They might hit them now, but might not be able to hit them later. Aquilame Perry, I know I read it. It's kinda mandatory for them to say something like that. I'm hoping it's tongue-in-cheek, like when people repeat the Seinfeld quote, "Hiskay not that there's anything wrong with that," knowing that there is a lot wrong with it. Wolfini Burger King GQ, here is my very wrong opinion and proof that I'm a fit. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Follow this guy.
Put your fucking mask on! Put your mask on! There's COVID cases! Hurry up! Put it on! Put it on!
Members of Congress throw a hissy fit for simply having to do their job. I joined Greg Kelluso on Newsmax to talk about my procedural moves that are slowing down the Democrats' radical agenda.
hands on these Zoom calls and look, we're in the minority. We can't really stop it. Let's just kind of suck it up. And you're having none of that, which is very interesting and, forgive me, admirable.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Greg. Another thing I said in that tweet is, you know, I didn't come here to join the swamp, and so I'm not jumping off the high dive into the murky waters and just joining and doing as what I'm told. And I did have some pushback from my Republican colleagues because they were so inconvenienced. They actually had to get up out of their chair and walk down to the chamber and vote and go on record for voting. And, you know, here's what I found out. The public has come out very strong on this issue. They want members of Congress on record. They want us voting and going on record on every single bill. And I totally agree with the American people. This is what we're hired to do. This is what we're elected to do. And so the Democrats were complaining today that it would take 10 hours of voting. Well, let me tell you something. For all these small businesses that have been shut down this past year, I'm sure those small businesses and their employees would give anything to do a 10-hour workday. But we have members of Congress that are complaining and whining because actually voting on record would add 10 hours of work for all of us today.
You know, I think the way the founders kind of envisioned the system, you're supposed to have citizen lawmakers, not these permanent dwellers of Washington, D.C. By the way, the mask that you're wearing, kind of interesting. I think we have a highlighted picture of it. Let's see here. This mask is as useless as Joe Biden. Yikes! That's it's very funny and I think very true. Although I do wear a mask. You've got it right there. I wear a mask because I don't want a hard time from anybody. Is anybody giving you a hard time over that mask? Or I would imagine you're getting a cold shoulder from a lot of folks in Congress, both Democrat and Republican. What is it like day in and day out for you there?
Well, here in the District of Communism is what I call it. I get the cold shoulder and dirty looks all the time, and I could care less because the people up here in this military state with our big border wall with razor wire around the Capitol complex, nobody here voted for me and put me in Congress. It's the people back home that did that, and that's where real America is.
And just like that, Speaker Pelosi and the Democrats changed the rules that we voted on January 4th for the 117th Congress, affecting suspension bills. The Democrats do whatever they want. This is why Republican members need to be actively working to stop the radical Dems, simply by showing up on the House floor, saying we request roll call votes on 13 bills that were supposed to pass in the dark, with no recorded vote. Now all 13 bills have been pulled from the floor today. Why? What's wrong with Congress having a recorded vote on every bill? Gun control votes this week in Congress. Call your congressman today. Tell them to oppose H.R. 8 National Gun Registry and H.R. 1446 Permanent Firearm Waitlist. Call 20222432121.
Hey everyone, this is Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. We've got big gun controls coming down the pipe this week in DC. The first one is H.R. 8, National Gun Registry. We all know that gun registration leads to confiscation. We've got to stop that one ASAP. The next one is H.R. 1446. This allows DC bureaucrats to stop you from being able to buy your firearm indefinitely. Get on the phone, call your reps, call them, tell them, stop these bills, and let's protect our Second Amendment. Thank you very much.
Pelosi's military takeover of the Capitol has more border security than Americans. At our southern border, Biden's border crisis is allowing over 2,000 people a day, with no knowledge of who they are and where they come from and what diseases they are bringing in, built the wall. 6 years ago, Carol Bone was stabbed to death while waiting for government to grant her permission to exercise her 2A rights. I oppose H.R. 1446 because women and men shouldn't have to wait for a bureaucrat in D.C. to decide if they can defend themselves. 13 shootings over All-Star Weekend in Atlanta. No amount of new laws or gun controls will stop criminals, gangsters, or thugs from committing crimes. Criminals don't follow laws, and they certainly don't ask permission to commit crimes. Dixon 5-5. Anthony Sabatini. Webster and Sabatini won't be running against each other. Greer, Webster and Sabatini won't be running against each other. This is the part of Florida that has grown the most and will certainly have a new district for Anthony to seek. Liberalism is the greatest evil in the history of mankind. It is an entire political philosophy premised upon disobedience to God. To fix our country, we must put God back in government and stop pretending the state must be atheist in order for it to function. Miles 86114-853. That's my son, and that's all muscle. I thought about being fat one time, but the decision weighed down too heavily on me. Nitwhy to say erk. Monarchy hangout. Hey Santhihan, monarchy rocks though. The corporate murder you never expected. Burger King is the official fast food of Liberty Hangout. When we swing we don't miss. Real Bree song Gray read Dr. Seuss. Raheem Kasamari Britons never forget this golden moment. We proudly support Anthony Sabatini. For us Congress, he will put America first again.
I'm Anthony Sabatini. I'm an America First conservative, and I'm running for Congress. The spineless and corrupt Republican establishment turned its back on President Trump and refuses to fight for our America First agenda. And it's time we fight back. As the most conservative member of Florida's state legislature, fighting for what's right is what I do. It's why I serve as an officer in the Florida Army National Guard, protecting Florida against disaster and lawlessness. It's why I attended law school and college at the University of Florida, so I could defend our Constitution in the courtroom from the radical left and tyrannical government. And it's why I serve in the Florida House of Representatives, filing legislation to crack down on big tech censorship, to prevent election fraud, to end illegal immigration, to protect the Second Amendment, to ban transgender men from competing in girls' sports, and to create term limits for every politician. As Florida's most pro-Trump state legislator, no one has fought harder for the America First agenda. And now it's time to bring that fight to Congress. Join me as we fight to take our country back and to make America first again.
Joe Biden signed an executive order that will allow criminals in federal prison to vote by mail and that requires jails to assist with getting felons registered to vote for Democrats. ASAP. We all know Democrats are the party of lawlessness, but this takes the cake. In honor of International Women's Day, I'd like to thank Gov Cuomo for all the hands-on mentoring he's given his female aides. Future generations of young women will benefit from knowing that Democrat politicians only consider for accusers the right number to take them seriously. Another day, another swampy bill.
With bureaucrats. The Stronger Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, CAPTA, opens the door for CPS to seize children if parents do not support the LGBTQ agenda. This already happened in Ohio, and soon it will be nationwide. Additionally, this bill will steamroll charities that oppose the LGBTQ agenda. Catholic adoption agencies, canceled. Christian foster care, canceled. Freedom of religion, yep, that's canceled. This bill could divert resources away from kids with special needs, older kids, and racial minorities. Democrats are showing that once again, they put politics ahead of compassion, bureaucrats ahead of families, and special interests ahead of everyday Americans.
The White House press corps needs to lure Joe Biden into the press briefing room with free sniffs and then ambush him with questions. Perhaps we should hold remote sessions of Congress at the southern border so Democrats can agree to build a wall there. You're going to hear Democrats talk a lot about common sense gun control this week. I think following the Constitution is pretty sensible myself. Rebellion to tyrants is obedience to God. California is one of the most progressive states. It also has a very high cost of living, a terrible homeless problem, awful public education, feces in the streets, and gas prices high enough to make you cry. But yay progressivism. I celebrated International Women's Day by cooking for my husband, like all women should do. Maybe instead of mask mandates we just need weight limits. How can there be an International Women's Day if women don't exist? You have my endorsement. No one will fight harder for America than Anthony Sabatini, who was voted the most conservative legislature in all of Florida. Let's make America first again.
I'm Anthony Sabatini. I'm an America First conservative, and I'm running for Congress. The spineless and corrupt Republican establishment turned its back on President Trump and refuses to fight for our America First agenda. And it's time we fight back. As the most conservative member of Florida's state legislature, fighting for what's right is what I do. It's why I serve as an officer in the Florida Army National Guard, protecting Florida against disaster and lawlessness. It's why I attended law school and college at the University of Florida, so I can defend our Constitution in the courtroom from the radical left and tyrannical government. And it's why I serve in the Florida House of Representatives, filing legislation to crack down on big tech censorship, to prevent election fraud, to end illegal immigration, to protect the Second Amendment, to ban transgender men from competing in girls' sports, and to create term limits for every politician. As Florida's most pro-Trump state legislator, no one has fought harder for the America First agenda. And now it's time to bring that fight to Congress. Join me as we fight to take our country back and to make America first again.
Guy Fawkes, Oliver Cromwell, Prince Harry, the Trinity of traitors, to crown and country. Swanson, near good point. The only person I can think of who has acted more destructively towards the English monarchy than Harry and Meghan is Guy Fawkes. The male academics who taught me anthropology were so old school that I only discovered postmodern anthropology after finishing my PhD. I could not believe that silly posh girls could get doctorates through writing about their feelings about being abroad, but they can. Join us at the Jolly Heretic an hour hence at 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. NY, where we shall try to solve the greatest whodunit of our time. ZYKL 0NOCAST, Ketum Durl, which character in Saved by the Bell. Host 3070185, where is this talk? Join me at the Jolly Heretic at 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Meghan and Harry time, where we will look at how narcissistic women can take jokes made by elderly men out of context to gain woke brownie points. Neither Dog nor Dr. Biden seem to be enjoying this awkward petting of the head. Dr. Jill Biden, with champ, she was really laying on thick with that dog. I mean, she went from 0 to 100 in terms of dog activity. Nobody was buying it, especially the dogs. They shipped the dogs out of the White House. They are blaming Major's aggressive behavior, probably just didn't like his tail being pulled by Joe Biden. I knew something was up with those dogs. I blame Joe. A judge just said the Horns guy has to stay in jail. He didn't hurt anyone, he didn't break anything. Yes, he broke the law and should be punished, but still in jail, no bail. This is like the crummy old Soviet Union. Let this guy go. Wow, Greta is a real diva. Look at all the luggage she brings with here, wherever she goes. Who does she think she is, Bayance? I love this picture of Greta chowing down on all kinds of environmentally dubious foods. I call her Bigfoot in honor of her massively huge carbon footprint. This annoying kid is back, but this time she's breaking Joe Biden's chops. Did you know Gavron DeSantis was in the Navy? Didn't he did time in Iraq. Meanwhile, the left-wing media could not stop writing about Pachabakidid and his shortcut scam job as an Uber driver in Afghanistan. The fake news just doesn't get it. I met Oprah Winfrey at a party once. She was very nice, but boyfriend Stedman was very aloof. Nelson DeMille, the great novelist, 22 books, 16 bestsellers. Movies include The General's Daughter, also a Vietnam veteran. A modern Hemingway. Our conversation. Everybody gets down in the dumps every now and then. Meghan, here's the deal, you can get help instead. She tried to blow up the entire royal family and shook down Hollywood, who paid up big time. I half expected her to say she had been harassed by Cuomo. Get real. Oprah had a moment, but why the hell didn't she ask about the old man Tom, Meghan's dad? Also, that estate, it had 3 pools, a basketball stadium, and a helipad, but we only got to see the porch and the chicken coop. Why? Damn straight, Piers Morgan. Why didn't Oprah ask about Tom Markle, the dad? Something is not right with Meghan ruining families transatlantically for 5 years now. What's her beef? Piers isn't wrong at all on this one. I enjoy his candor from across the pond. Dear President Biden, would be great if you would build back better along our southern border. Swamp takes care of swamp. In the very last Senate amendment to their $19 trillion blowout, Democrats are giving away up to 25,000 bonuses to government employees. The Biden administration cannot ignore what they ignited: a crisis at the border. Weak policies from a weak administration.
This Biden administration cannot ignore what they ignited. Within 2 months, their actions creating a crisis on the border, which only harms the health of all Americans. They are moving these individuals in. They are encouraging. The DHS secretary has encouraged people to come. He says, we're not saying not to come, just don't come right now. Going against the actual law of America, but moving them in a world of COVID right now with no testing, putting them throughout this country when our schools can't even open up.
Steve Kumar, always with you, my friend. Runda Hatrevus Ogstar Warsaw G Kaipuxi 9 Grechosner, Alkiori 1 Rosem Queen 1 Kristinova Jesimal Stone Thekenzi Taylor Moira Kitty, Riot Kitty 1 Minority Home Thatchug Life Ogmarad 8 Eris Offshas Udach Kitty Afbird Mads May Bear, Becky 71785, True Gentleman right here Cassie I, think you got yourself a winner, much love, stay genuine and beautiful. Arctic Ninja Paul, Chris Arnoldschks.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. Isn't all that glitters is gold? Half the story had never been told. So now you see the light. Hey, stand up for your right. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you will look for yours on earth. And now when you see the light, you stand up for your right. Yeah. Get up, stand up. Yeah, yeah. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Life is your right. Get up, stand up. So we can't give up the fight. Stand up for your right. Lord, Lord. Get up, stand up. Keep us traveling on. Don't give up the fight. Yeah. We're sick and tired of your ism, schism, game, dine and go to heaven in Jesus' name, Lord. We know and we understand. Almighty God is a living man. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. So now we see the light. We gonna stand up for our rights. Yeah. So you better get up, stand up in the morning. Give it up, stand up for your rights. Stand up right now. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Don't give it up, don't give it up. Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up.
And now you see the light, you stand up for your rights. Bob Marley via YouTube. DRUNK 3P0. It's a pre-workout tweet. J. Put it out Sunday night. Wake up to inspo Monday morning. Scrouder Blaze, Steve Kumar. Homicidal maniac and murderers are getting stimulus checks in jail and you're paying for it. Check out the details here. The Wyoming Senate is voting on SF-145 tomorrow. SF-145 would enact a runoff system in way so candidates need over 50 to win a primary. Liz Cheney allies are working behind the scenes to kill the bill. Contact the Republicans on the committee and tell them to support SF-145.
Alright guys, you knew it was coming. We're talking Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and the Oprah interview. You know, I actually couldn't care less about this stuff really, but since everyone's talking about it and every other tweet is coming up, I think we gotta address some of this stuff because I have a feeling that I can relate a little bit. You know, I've dealt a lot with press and high-profile families and a lot of BS, and are we pretending that Meghan Markle isn't the kind of person that was like looking for all of this attention? Because it seems like literally all of her actions in life up until now, were about getting that kind of attention for herself. She just wants it to be good attention. The problem is if you don't have the personality to do that, it doesn't always work out as much. One of the things I was a little bit shocked in the interview was that there was literally no questioning of her as far as I'm concerned. Again, I'm following this on Twitter, so I'm not watching this thing. It's, not worth the time, but I didn't see any of it. I would have thought there would have been. Her being asked about the allegations of verbal abuse to her staff because, she was living in terrible conditions. It was brutal with a staff in a castle. It was terrible, folks. Who are we kidding? Guys, imagine I went to you guys and said, it's terrible to have to live at Mar-a-Lago. Oh, I'm not sure there's an equivalent to Buckingham Palace or one of the palaces over there in America, but if there is one, Mar-a-Lago is close. If I made that complaint with a straight face, you guys would laugh me off of this page, even my fans, and you'd be 100% right. Right? Why was there no questioning? Again, didn't seem like she was hiding from the press. Didn't seem like she wasn't buying with full disclosure. Meaning, if you're marrying into the British royal family, you probably understand that there is some stuff that comes along with that isn't always going to be awesome. Right? This notion of those complaints and the victimhood around it. Obviously, racism, a terrible thing, but let's hear more about it. Was it someone in the periphery? I don't think it was the Queen. It seems like that's not the case, but it seems like you're trying to create a story for more of that attention that you're pretending you don't love. If you don't love the attention, if you want to be left alone and live a normal life, you don't go do an interview with Oprah watched by 35 million people, right? She's griping about something. I didn't understand the formality of meeting the Queen. Ask your boyfriend. Ask your would-be husband. Guess what? I have some experience with this, guys. I had, the awesome privilege, frankly, of meeting the royal family, not this past summer, but the summer before that. Went to Buckingham Palace, and what was sort of interesting, they talk about some of those things, and this is what you do when you meet the Queen, and yada, yada, yada. And I was waiting, and they had us in a room, and literally, we were behind some doors, and they opened, and there was the Queen. I just happened to be the person standing literally right in front of the doors. And so I was there, and I'm 4 feet away from the Queen of England, someone with this incredible story, who's lived through so much, met with some of it was awesome. And I'm not a guy that gets starstruck. I could care less usually. That is not my thing. I'm sort of much more into regular people than I am to the BS Hollywood scene. It's never been my thing. It never will be. But the Queen of England was there with her life story, just wow. I was I don't even know what to do. She literally grabbed me by the arm, gave me a pat on the shoulders. Come on in, meet with. She was the coolest person ever for someone that age. She recognized it was sort of I was unusually and uncharacteristically a little bit like a deer in the headlights. Brought us in, was totally welcoming. And that was at a formal event. That was at a big gala where they're welcoming the two greatest allies of yada, yada, yada with my family and the royal family. It was awesome. William was awesome. It was a great experience. Everyone had a good time. I was next to some other royalty and aristocrats at a dinner, and everyone had an awesome conversation. It was totally different and honestly much more relaxed than I expected given what they built it up. So I have a feeling that, behind closed doors at a family event, these are people that can relax. They're still people, right? But you would never hear that based on what Manny was saying. If Don Trump Jr. came to me and to you guys and said, guys, I'm in my late 30s or 40s and I was cut off financially from the family. All I have is, 10 million pounds, $13, $14 million, from my mother's estate or something like that to say, I don't know what to, you guys would say I'm a joker. And you'd be right, again. You don't get cut off at 40, you get a job, you do something. And again, if you're a Hollywood leftist, if you're an uber liberal, loved by those people, celebrity, you're getting 37 million people watching, guess what? People are gonna write you checks for doing virtually nothing. Okay, I promise you that, and they know that. I look at the home that they're moving into, and it's not like they're cut off. I saw, again, all of these things are popping up on Twitter. This is why Twitter is great at times, because it's just a total crap show. But it's sort of amazing. You see the home they're buying. They don't look like they're exactly impoverished, or they've been cut off, and they're running around destitute. I know people, that are worried about making rent next month, not buying, $15 million homes. There's a pretty significant difference. And again, them in Hollywood with that celebrity, they'll be just fine. They'll be making more money than God in a matter of nothing. But, are we really pretending that, she's a victim of all of this? That she wasn't into the press? Has she ever met a camera she probably didn't love? Are we really pretending that? I actually feel bad for Harry. He's like a guy in a hostage video. He actually seems like a dude that I'd want to have a beer with. I'm not sure what's happened to him over the last couple years. And, guys, we've been in love before. That has changed us. We've seen this happen. It will not be the first time, and it will not be the last time that happened. But, I feel like he's a dude in a hostage video, playing along, and he's been, brainwashed into some sort of, woke reality, perhaps missing sort of the real reality of what's going on in the world and some of the hypocrisy of what's going on around that. So I feel bad for him, but, her getting up there and being the victim of all this, when it seems like there's people that work for her that say she's no angel. And honestly, guys, I don't know her from Adam, but when I'm watching those videos, when I'm watching this interview, I can almost guarantee you that those people probably were verbally abused and treated like crap, because she doesn't seem like the kind of person that treats other people all that well. I get there's the woke image that she puts out there and all of that stuff, and so I'll get canceled for saying it, but are we really pretending that this seems like this is a nice and humble, warm woman that had no idea what she was getting into, had no idea that there would be press when she was a princess of England, totally clueless, she's shocked. She's shocked that happened. Come on, guys, give me a freaking break. I'm sure I'll have more commentary on this in time, but in the meantime, I'll just enjoy reading the commentary online. It's truly spectacular. Have a good one, folks.
My take on the Meghan Markle Harry hostage video Oprah interview: have fun and enjoy. When I'm looking for a quiet, peaceful life out of the public eye, the first thing I'll do is call Oprah to do an interview. The lunatics are trying to cancel Looney Tunes when they have a real-life Pepe, look you in Governor Andrew Cuomo, of New York maybe. They should focus their energy there. My thoughts: 19 trillion divided by America's population is over 5,000 per person. You're getting 1,400. Many others won't even qualify for that. What's happening with the rest of the money will disgust you. Watch and RT. And literally every other disease. But let's not address the pandemic of obesity, because it's not woke. This clip tells you everything you need to know about Joe Biden. He's a puppet. The Capitol Police, who answer to Nancy Pelosi, are now requesting an extra 2 months of National Guard deployment in Washington, D.C. This is absolutely ridiculous. The time to send them home has long passed. If we put America first, if we invest in our citizenry and our country, then we can save this republic. It's time to speak out in defense of America. Leftists are worried about children's books and the gender of toys. Conservatives are worried about a border crisis that is 6 times worse than any we have ever faced. Priorities: Biden advisors say there's no room for complacency about the impending COVID relief bill. I want to tell the American citizens this: there is no room for complacency when it comes to your individual liberties. This is unreal. The right. Melissa cannot wait to read. Thank you for your voice. Politics of the right: deregulation, tax cuts, pro-growth policies that incentivize businesses to invest in their people, hire 401ks, higher real wages, and lifting those out of poverty by giving them a hand up, not a handout. Would you like me to continue? Historically proven to work. Got it. That's why we still have marginalized communities in Democrat-led areas and trillions of dollars in national deficit. The left destroys small businesses and don't help people in trouble. They do everything they can to keep them down. Stay positive. USA, thank you. We appreciate your support. Yorkshire, beautifully put. Arthur Schwartz, Jim Van de Allegra, Kirkland, Alexi Axios. Feminism is the attack on men, and thus the union of what can be accomplished when 2 people are together. 2 is better than 1. Wanting to make your husband happy, build a life together, and support one another should never be wrong. It should be encouraged. Fake Republican Adam Kinzinger had enough time to go on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. I want to know when the last time Adam spoke face-to-face with a voter in the 16th district, or a beautiful island off the coast of Los Angeles, celebrating International Women's Day by defending women against the left's radical economic policies, like the PRO Act, unconstitutional lockdowns that have kept women from the workforce, and elevating all women regardless of color or creed. Thanks for having me on, Seb. Dr. Seuss cancelled today, the Constitution cancelled tomorrow. The 19 trillion spending package is no different from the New Deal, Great Society, and every other massive gov intervention measure throughout history. Soon Democrats will have another excuse to bloat government. We need to rein in federal spending. S4M31P4N, lol, you sicko. So funny, all the red states these libs look down on have just been chillin' during COVID, while every major blue state is fucked up by their own psyop. Protect Gavin Newsom. The Daily Beast: 10 examples of Elizabeth Warren fans promoting fascism. You have to, because one day none of us will be able to say anything about any of this publicly in any meaningful way. It's already happening. You have to stop being cowardly and say it if you see that it's bullshit, and I know you do because you DM me it privately all the time, but are scared to say it on the timeline because you don't want the white blood cell libs coming after you. But you can't just go along with this. It's not just me, you see it with plenty of people, even yourself. Maybe anybody who says anything slightly outside of what is condoned by the DNC and the elite establishment is made to be the enemy. A politician follows what the elite says, a media figure follows what a politician says, and the influencers follow them down to all the parasocial brain lib NPCs, all to keep the whole machine running uninterrupted and uncritiqued. Anyone deviating from this must be policed. Why was the left so furious with me last year for being skeptical of COVID and for saying Biden's worse than Trump, if they're all saying it now because what I said made their elected and media idols look bad for siding with the elite whom they needed for their careers? That's it. I can literally count a dozen times NPC leftards told me my take was insane and dumb only for it to become commonplace 6 months later. If you see them mad at me or arguing with me about one of my opinions or predictions, you and I know why. Maybe I'm just smarter than a lot of them, or maybe they're just cowards who knew but didn't say to protect their careers. Doesn't really matter, does it? 'Cause once again I was right and the whole lot of them were wrong, and it'll keep happening. I like how when I said Biden was more pro-austerity than Trump 6 months ago, it was a retarded, unhinged hot take, but today, it's now a pedestrian take on left Twitter. Or en masse entirely now. I didn't know fascists root for Democrats. One take I have that hasn't changed from years ago is that people who think shit like Chapo is fascist have wild brain worms. Uncle Doomer lol. Bridget Reese 2016. Bernie was deaf better. Russiagate impeachment COVID all big lib jokes. When Bernie took Russiagate serious, I should have known his whole movement was a joke. My favorite day on the calendar is finally here, a super important day we all should cherish. Obviously it's the anniversary of the Battle of Dudala that resulted in an Ottoman victory over the Brits. Wear your careful now, what's happening to everybody. Perfect form.
I'm wearing a mask! You're not wearing a mask! You're not wearing a mask! I'm wearing a mask!
It's important to lower your mask when you mask scold someone, so they can fully hear what you're saying. The pod was mostly event for me, since I just wasn't hearing anything real anymore. After Bernie dropped out, seemed like everything was just moving lib, and I didn't wanna hear it. It's been fun talking to all the people on here I find funny and interesting. Still got a few more in mind. Was genuinely surprised we had 200 listeners a year ago, and now it's grown tenfold. Thanks everybody for listening, supporting, and thanks to all the guests live stream tonight, 9 p.m. estate. You should suspect every single major media figure who pushed for Bernie in 2020 as being DNC ops. You don't understand, I voted for Biden to push acceleration and spark a communist revolution. This is going to be the limits of your political efficacy, in whichever what way, for the next few decades, in the free marketplace of ideas. Burger King tired of college campus SJWs trying to turn your children gay or trans while they spit on your flag and burn down your local Walmart. Come inside and salute the new flag. Colored triple whopper portion of profits go to local police department. When Dispapakirasher is a systemic issue, rooted in the pedophilia of settler mindset that gaslights our non-binary allies into perceiving themselves as hapless bodies due to be raped by the white shit patriarchy. When spicy chicken nuggets are back on the 245 menu. Alexia Mao. Sexinos Mao. White Lib podcast, and I mean that's obviously racist, which is obviously bad. Fed post I don't trust that guy, I don't think his racism is genuine. White Lib podcast lols. That reminds me of when I was presenting my dissertation and spilled fresco all over my podium. Fed post, so you're telling me the Jews aren't behind this? BRRRRRPP lol. Damn, looks like they can interchangeably cynically use it pole culture war to sell you shit hodadum kit. Rare Kondai pod once week egg person ridden but latron noisy. I don't mean trans people literally decide what we talk about, I mean trans issues disproportionately make up political discourse. The richest of the rich are the smallest minority, but they dictate everything, they do not have consensus. Students of Color Liberation Front sounds like a make-believe terrorist group in a 1968 Dragnet episode. Using taxpayer dollars to bail out pension plans is almost unheard of. Less than one of COVID relief bill is related to COVID bails out mismanaged unions, pays teachers even more not to teach, sends checks to prisoners and illegal immigrants.